It's going to be an amazing performance. You're going to love it. We are very, very proud of our grade 12 drama students. They select these topics in September, research them, they do all of the writing, and then of course the acting, the producing, the directing, the tech, to create these wonderfully entertaining and educational productions for your enjoyment. Remember that this is documentary theater, so all of the scenes are based on non-fiction, real life stories. Some of the scenes are actually verbatim text, things that people actually said. But every story in this docudrama is a true story. I'm going to welcome you to eat your lunch, but please, if you could open up any of that crinkly paper now, and also pick up all of your garbage afterwards, as we have a class in here, period 3. And don't forget to please turn off all
blackberries, blueberries, and anything that goes deep in the dark.
Thank you so much. Actors, break a leg. Woo!
Shapes, the particular condition of someone or something, the outline of an area or figure.
Shapes is concerned only with the two-dimensional qualities of an object.
Shapes, particular state of something or someone.
Shapes. In chemistry, molecular geometry describes the three-dimensional shape of a molecule.
Shapes. In the visual arts, a shape is a flat, enclosed area of artwork, created through lines, textures, and colors.
Shapes will always have an impact on everyone's life.
Would you do something for me, please? Picture a life for me. 30 years from now, 40 years from now, what's it like? If it's with that guy, go. I lost you once, I think I can do it again if it's what I thought you really wanted. But don't take the easy way out.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone else wants? What I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Did that scene look familiar to you? Whether it did or whether it didn't, I'm sure you've all heard of The Notebook. One of the most prevalent romantic drama relationships is presented through Rachel McAdams' Allie and Ryan Gosling's Noah. And if Ryan Gosling doesn't get you interested, I don't know what will.
I completely agree. Hey, did you know that their relationship was actually based off of a true story? It's quite a juicy love triangle.
A love triangle? What's a love triangle?
A love triangle is a term we use to describe when two people are in love with the same person, but those two people are not in love with each other.
So you're saying Allie and Noah are in love with each other, but there's someone else who's in love with Allie?
Mm-hmm. See, Allie was engaged to another man named Juan, yet Noah was still in love with her and wanted her to be with him.
That's pretty interesting.
It is, isn't it? I guess I just feel bad for poor Lon. These love triangles can be pretty rough for the person that ends up on the wrong side.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, if you look closer, love triangles have actually been quite influential on history. I mean, look at Henry VIII and what he did to his wife.
You gotta be way more specific. He had like 1,000,000 wives.
Right. Sorry. Specifically, I mean his first wife, Catherine of Aragon.
And what happened to her?
Well, it's a little bit complicated, but why don't we find out?
Catherine, darling, this isn't working out. You know I need a male heir to the throne.
All I've ever done is love you. Shouldn't that be enough?
I'm afraid it isn't.
But
nothing. I found another. I'm sorry.
who is she?
The lady in waiting. And boiling.
Hold up. What's a lady in waiting?
Oh, a lady in waiting is a woman who attended to the needs of the queen.
So, Catherine would have known Anne then?
Yeah, she would have. They would have interacted on many occasions, but based on their differences in statuses, they probably wouldn't have been close.
I don't think that makes it any better, but continue.
Right, so why don't we see what happens next?
I'm tired, Henry. I don't want to be the kingdom's worst kept secret.
Hey, I just need a little more time. I'm going to talk to the Pope Clement today.
At the time time of the affair, the English monarchy was under the religion of the Roman Catholic Church. That meant that King Henry could not divorce his wife without permission from the Pope.
So, did he ever end up asking the Pope?
Well, why don't we find out?
Hey, Pope Clement, can I get a divorce from my wife?
That's a hard no from me, the church, Henry.
Does he know who he's talking to? I am king. If I can't divorce under the Catholic Church, maybe I shouldn't be a part of it at all. I'll create my own religion. Anglican religion will rise. Rome will quake at the thought of it. No longer will a man be held down for one woman for the rest of his life. Yeah, I quite like the sound of that.
Hold up. Let me get this straight. He created a whole new religion just so he could divorce his wife?
Essentially, yes. I mean, there were other reasons, including his need for ultimate power and to distance himself from Rome. But that's a whole other story.
So, did he ever end up asking Anne to marry him?
Yep.
Will you marry me?
Yes, yes!
So, what happened to Anne after they got married?
Well, shortly after, Anne gave birth to a baby girl named Elizabeth. All things were great until she got her head chopped off, that is.
Huh?
She wasn't able to give Henry a male heir to the throne either.
Jeez. Wait, are you saying that it was Elizabeth, as in, like, Elizabeth the First?
Yeah, and the rest is pretty much history.
Jeez, these love triangles seem really complicated. I mean, out of one love triangle came a whole new religion. That's crazy.
I know, right? Who knew love had such an effect on the shape of our history?
Whew, note to self, never get in a love triangle or things might just get really tricky.
Hey kids, I'm Miss Lenahan, and today's topic, and this is my assistant Samina.
Hiya! What will we be learning today, Miss Lenahan?
Today's topic is shapes.
Ooh!
Our first shape is a circle.
Circles are pointless.
That's how they roll.
Yes, I love puns and jokes.
A circle is a round plane figure whose circumference consists of points equidistant from the center. But circles are much more than a mathematical equation. Circles are useful too. They gave us the wheel, perhaps the most famous of all inventions, the iconic shape of the Colosseum, and they gave us the carousel and Ferris wheel, two of the first amusements.
But does a perfect circle exist?
I'm so glad you asked, Mina. If you mean to draw or build something that perfectly follows a perfect circle, then no. In math, however, you can construct whatever you want. I mean, what's the difference between me and a circle?
People like circles to be around.
Excuse me?
No, it's a part of the joke. Of course, you're fun.
Oh, good.
Is there anything else circles can't do?
The only thing circles can't do is have an edge. Circles are everywhere, whether you notice them or not. Whether they're man-made or in nature, circles are there.
I think circles might be my new favorite shape.
This circle is only the beginning, dear Samina.
Alright, now, tell me what you see here.
I don't know.
That's okay, there's no wrong or right answer. Just tell me what you see.
I still don't know.
It's all right, sweetie. Just say something. Anything.
I said I don't know.
That's okay. We will just try another one. Tell me, what do you see here?
I see... sorry, I still don't know.
CK, are you taking this seriously?
Ma'am, please try and refrain from saying any side comments. Okay, last one. What do we see here?
I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. All these shapes just look so blurry. It's like I can't see anything.
Miss Smith, your son does not need glasses, correct?
No, we just took him to the eye doctor.
Huh. I'll be back in a few minutes. I need some time to process some of this information.
CK, are you taking this seriously? You're worrying me.
Of course I am, Mom. I can't see anything. It's like all the shapes are blurry. Like I'm blind or something.
Hi, Miss Smith. So I've processed some of this information, and it turns out your son has visual agnosia.
Visual agnosia? That sounds really serious. What is it?
Essentially, your son cannot see or recognize any visual information. To put it into simpler terms, your son cannot see shapes due to a disorder in the parietal lobe.
Is there any way we can treat this disorder?
There is. You can get a surgery and then take cerebral abscess for after said surgery, followed by therapy with me. Now, I understand that this is a very, very big decision, so I'm going to leave you two in here to talk it over for a bit. Just please don't take too long. I have other patients today.
CK, I don't think you're ready for all of this. We don't have enough information, and I'm really, really worried for you. I mean, what if we do the surgery, and then you can't see at all? Or what if the antibiotics affect other parts of your brain? So many things could go wrong, and I don't want you to get hurt from this surgery. So, I think it's best for you if we don't go through with it, and you learn to deal with your disability. All right? I'm gonna go talk to the nurses, CK, all right? I'll be right back. Clean up your toys.
I love how once again my mom is making a decision based on my behalf. I actually wanted to get better. I wanted to do the surgery. It's been a few years. It's been years now since my mom and I went to meet with the therapist, and now I'm a manager at a large corporation. I still have tons of cognitive issues, but normally, I still normally have trouble seeing shapes. Thankfully, I have a normal IQ and I can do everything I need to in my job, but if I had gone through the surgery, I honestly would not be CK.
My clearest memory of 9/11 is running home from my 6-year-old son's school while a huge series of booms shook the ground and everything around us. We lived approximately 5 blocks away from the school, and we heard the sound of the planes crashing to the other towers. I had no idea what it could have been. The U.S. Capitol, maybe, the Supreme Court, the White House. I was so unprepared to answer when my 6-year-old son asked, "What's happening, Mom?" "Just run, baby," was all I could say.
I could see the other tower had been hit. How could 2 separate planes hit 2 separate towers? I was numb. Nothing was making sense. Then the unimaginable happened. The first of the 2 towers collapsed. I stood watching the TV screen in disbelief. How many people were in the building? How many people got out? The loss of life must have been inconceivable.
My husband and I were staying with his parents in Long Island after our house had flooded. My father-in-law called my name that morning, telling me that there was a call from my daughter. The call was disconnected, but I wasn't worried since I thought she was likely on a bus or a train and would call right back. My husband was on a conference call at the time when he heard that the planes had hit the Twin Towers. All I could get out in that moment was, "Jesus, Mary, Joseph, please help us," as we turned on the TV for news.
The raw fear of that day has stayed with me, and if I let that memory back into my consciousness, I can still feel like it just happened.
Of all the ghastly images, one struck me the most. It was what looked like birds at the top of one of the buildings, but they weren't. It was people jumping to certain death. What that decision must have been like. You have fire at your back, you either jump or you burn. There's no help coming. The fear of that day still chills my skin.
I recall seeing black smoke coming from the top of my daughter's building, and looking at the hole in the building thinking that there was no way for her to get out. Then the phone rang. It was my daughter, Michelle. Shelly had survived the hit, but in her tone of voice, I could tell she was dying. I recall over the phone she had told me, "Mom, I think I'm on the 150th floor. Mom, it's smoky. Mom, it's hot. Mom, please help me get out."
We were some of the lucky ones. We made it home fine and safe and unharmed.
I went into my children's room. I felt like I needed to say something. I had to say something. I said that some bad men had done a bad thing, but everything was going to be okay. But I could grant no assurances that what I was saying was true. In fact, I knew As I was saying it, the world had been irrevocably altered.
I recall falling to the ground and asking for God's help. I said, God, help Shelley, I prayed. And I know he did. I know he grabbed her by the hand and took her home.
I will never forget that day. It has reshaped the lives of millions, and we must never forget.
Oh, Angela, how are we?
Good. I think I'm starting to feel a little better.
That's good to hear. Would you like to take a seat?
I would.
So for today's session, I'd like you to do something. I'd like you to close your eyes and try to remember your childhood for me. Remember, can you tell me what happened?
I recall one of my first memories. I was 5 years old and I was getting ready for church, but I couldn't find my shoe.
Mom, I can't find my shoe.
Shut up! You know exactly where your shoe is. You're just saying that to get out to church.
I'm not. I promise I'm not.
Stop lying to me. Now get your shoe. Now!
I found my shoe, but I didn't lie to her. I truly didn't know where it was. It's not like it would have made much of a difference anyways. She still would have yelled at me all the way to church.
You're the devil, and there's evil in you. You hear me? You're the devil.
I'm the devil, and there's evil in me. I'm the devil, and there's evil in me.
Interesting. And you remember this incident all these years later?
It's honestly hard to forget what you hear when it impacts you that greatly.
So, what happened? Did she call you the devil a lot?
Not exactly. She used to say other things to make me feel small. For instance, when I was in the 4th grade, we moved to a different school, and I got picked on by the other kids. When I told her, all she could say was,
Did you ever think about what you did to make them pick on you?
Can you ask why you feel less important now?
I think maybe it might be.
Is there anything else from your childhood that you can remember that you'd like to share today?
I recall when I was in the 7th grade, I was doing a puzzle, and my friend had called, but I was so close to finishing, so I told my mom,
Can you tell her I'll call her back? I'm almost finished.
and she did what I asked. But when she hung up the phone, she began to lash out at me.
Why would you do that? My gosh, you're such a disappointment and you won't have any friends.
I'm a disappointment. I will have no friends. I'm a disappointment. I will have no friends.
Honestly, by the time I reached my teenage years, the yelling became an everyday occurrence. The only plus side to it is that after a while, I wouldn't hear from her, and I'd come to enjoy the silence when I had it.
Well, did she ever stop yelling?
No, she didn't. And when I was in junior high, I began drinking and doing drugs to help silence the pain of her words. Then, by my late teens, I'd replaced that suppressant with more alcohol. But the more suppressant I used, it always had the same outcome. When I sobered up, all the words just came flooding back.
I'm the devil, and there's evil in me.
I'm a disappointment. I will have
What
no
did
friends.
you do?
I'm a disappointment. I will have no
What
friends.
did you do?
I'm a disappointment. I will have no friends.
Shut up! Just shut up! I'm very sorry, but I don't think I can continue today. I don't think I can take any more of this.
It's okay, I understand. Would you like to do something else? I have the letter that I asked you to write to your mom. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
I think the only way that you can face your fear and heal is to outwardly express your feelings. So I'd like you to do this.
Okay. Dear Mom, I wanted to let you know that you have impacted my life and shaped me into the person I am today.
I'm sorry to say your impact has been more bad than good.
I'm disappointed to see that you followed in my grandmother's footsteps. And you lashed out at your kids, too.
Your behavior was toxic.
I lost my self-esteem.
And I struggle to teach my kids how to be confident because I'm still trying to figure it out for myself.
I cried.
I drank.
And I take 2 types of medications to help with the trauma that you caused.
So despite all of that trauma,
I know you were trying.
I just wish you tried harder sometimes. Sincerely, your daughter, Angela.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Angela. How do you feel?
Good. I think I feel a little bit better.
It's good to hear. You're making good progress.
Thank
So I'll see you next week for our next session.
Thank you. I'm certainly trying harder to find progress.
I wonder where my assistant Samina is. This is the last time I hire off LinkedIn. Samina?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was stuck learning about numbers at the other studio, but I'm here now.
Okay. When you think of shapes, what is the first one that comes to mind?
Square.
And why is that?
I don't know. I feel like they're the most commonly used. Is that our next shape?
No. Our next shape is a rectangle.
Why then would you?
Because not every rectangle is a square, but every square is a rectangle.
Oh.
A rectangle is a four-sided figure with straight sides. Rectangles and squares can be found everywhere around you.
What do you call a rectangle that got into a car crash?
What?
A rectangle. Like wreck as in car wreck. Why is the rectangle so commonly used?
Rectangles are the most basic form of structure. A structure made from rectangles has much more resilience and a far better foundation than other structures.
Fascinating. What do you
Oh
call
my god.
What do you call a rectangle that's standing up? An erect angle. No offense on him. A rectangle doesn't seem as fun as the other shapes.
No, Samina, they don't. However, they are the foundation for other shapes. And without a strong foundation, no building would remain standing. Or with makeup, foundation is important to help bring out the beauty in the other products. So while rectangles may not seem as important as the other shapes, they are just as important.
Wow, remind me to never underestimate the rectangle again.
That's what I'm here for, Samina.
Oh my God, you're really being serious.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?
Because what you're saying is absolute ludicrous. There is no way Pablo Picasso is one of the best artists in history. His paintings don't even make sense.
I didn't say best. I said he was the most impactful. I mean, have you actually seen any of his art?
Have you? I mean, you must be blind to think his paintings are anything less than ludicrous.
Look, you say ludicrous, I say full of expression.
Expression.
Yeah.
All I see when I look at his paintings are distorted shapes.
Look, that's the style of Cubism coming into play.
Cubist what?
Cubism. Pablo Picasso actually developed his own art style and is known as the father of Cubism.
What is that even supposed to mean?
It means everything. It shows how important Picasso was to influencing the world of art.
If his paintings were so terrifying, how could they possibly influence other artists?
Well, you could say that Picasso had already made quite a reputation for himself. When he unveiled his painting to his peers in the studio, many thought it was a joke, while others were initially disturbed by it.
I think you're only proving my point. All I'm hearing is that no one likes it.
I'm not finished. I think it was weird for them to see something so different. In the beginning, critics saw it as a direct attack on good Western values.
Good Western values. That's a good one. So what was this painting of anyway?
Oh, it was a scene from the brothel called La Bordelle d'Avion.
Well, how did he possibly influence other artists?
Well, you could say that the artists that were initially disturbed by the painting became enticed by its weird charm. In fact, nowadays, people actually try to pirate his paintings. Maybe, if Picasso could actually get his peers to see Cubism in a new light, I might actually get you to see things my way.
I really don't think so. Anyways, no. I just don't think so.
Seriously?
I'm serious. I'm not the only one who had bad things to say about him either. You know the New York Times, right?
Of course, I know what the New York Times is.
Yeah.
I'm not living under a rock.
They're one of the most credible newspapers in the world. Anyways, I say you're living in some kind of rock because Picasso's great.
Your point?
Well, Times wrote several articles on Picasso's School of Art, saying it's eccentric, his theory's crazy, and Picasso himself, get this, the wildest of wild men.
But that's just not true.
Oh, but there's more.
Seriously?
I'm afraid so. You know, they had a few newspapers wrote articles saying that Picasso's art was just childish scribbles of no interest.
Well, you know what? I don't care what those fossils from the New York Times have to say about Picasso or Cubism. up until Cubism, art reflected back at us in a centralized and recognizable manner. Things had essences, and artists and sculptors captured those essences in a weird visual representation called art.
Was I supposed to understand any of that?
Look, Cubism is important because it teaches us that our experience of things is fragmented and fleeting, and that our self is only a sum of our actions.
Was that supposed to make any sense?
Do you need me to explain it to you again?
I'm good. I'm good.
Fine. You're lost.
Well, I say that we have different opinions on art, and that's okay. We can always talk about other things, how like I'm a better person, better sports, all that. So, yeah, I enjoy your passion about this subject, but honestly, I say we have to agree to disagree, because this ain't never gonna work out.
I guess you're right.
I'm always right.
No, you're really not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What do you think of Vincent van Gogh then?
I ain't doing this.
It's finally happened, Samina. We're at our last shape.
Really? I never thought we'd get here. What's the last shape, Miss Lenahan?
Our last shape is a star.
A star?
Correct.
Pardon me, miss, but why a star?
A star shape is a conventional or stylized representation of a star. And though commonly thought of as the lights in the sky, the star has a much deeper meaning.
But aren't real stars just suns? So why is the shape a five-pointed figure?
Excellent question. You see, even though from our distance the stars appear as small dots in the sky, there are small imperfections in our eyes that smears out that small ball of light. And because of this biological explanation, every eye views the star in a slightly different way.
Fascinating.
Oh my god!
Why did the star get arrested?
I can't take this.
It was a shooting star!
Another word for the five-pointed star figure is called the pentagram. The pentagram has been used through different religions to represent different things. To a certain Greek philosopher by the name of Pythagoras, the 5 points on the star represented the 5 elements of humans: fire, air, water, earth, and spirit.
Wow, there's a lot more meaning to the shape than I thought there was. What is a star? What is a star win at a competition?
I don't know, a freaking gold star.
No, a constellation prize! Like consolation, the constellation?
Is that all?
Yes, unless you want
No!
more.
Now that we've been introduced to all 3 of our shapes, which one is your favorite, Samina?
Oh no, I totally forgot about that part. Well, circles are cool because they exist throughout space. But I can't forget about the rectangle because it's the glue that holds it all together. And I definitely can't forget about the star with such a deeper meaning. Oh no, this is too hard, I can't decide!
Well, I look forward to next week when we learn about colors.
Oh no.
I've never been the most athletic person. My lack of coordination and addiction to TVs, books, and the internet have kept me inside and unmoving. But I've always been pretty slim. Sure, teenage insecurity developed out of a lifetime of witnessing the women I loved putting themselves down. Or the ones I read about or saw on TV, agonizing over the tiniest of flaws. So, I joined a gym and I lost 5 kilos. And I prided myself on my newfound fitness and the abilities that came with it. People used to comment on my weight. They'd say things like, "Wow, you're so skinny," or "Gee, you've lost a lot." In my head, all I could hear was, "You're thin now. You're better than you were before." Fast forward though, through getting a full-time job, anxiety, medication, depression, and the weight piled back on, and then some. My natural lazy tendencies took over, and my feelings of self-worth plummeted. And with it, all my motivation to take care of myself. I knew what was good for me, but I didn't do it because I didn't think I deserved it, and I didn't see the point. People used to comment on my weight. They would say things like, "Gee, you've put on a lot," or "Should you really be eating that?" In my head, all I could hear was, "You're fat now. You're not as good as you were before." It was a startling day. I realized I was fat. How did I become a fat person? I grew up in a fat-phobic household, in a fat-hating society. And I had become the thing that everyone hated. I hated myself. And I hated myself for hating myself. Because for years, I'd adopted the belief that everyone is worthy, and nobody should be made to feel ashamed. And here I was, feeling unworthy and ashamed. I worried that if I lost weight, I'd only be validating the screwed up views of society, or denying myself of my own beliefs. But the only person I was truly hurting was myself. I was stuck in a vicious cycle of self-hatred and self-punishment, and I spiraled out of control. These days, though, I'm trying to be kinder to myself. I know that loving my body means taking care of my body, and I am worthy of that love. But it's a daily struggle, and the thing that helps me get through it is knowing that maybe I'm not alone, that other people know what it's like to be pulled in a million different directions, and that maybe, just maybe, it's time to put ourselves first. Because it shouldn't matter what shape a person is. It shouldn't matter that we're different. We should love ourselves for who we are and encourage one another to be different. Now, could you just imagine a world where we could live like that?
We go live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, now, the next child coming in is female, age 2.5. Now remember, we hold up the cards.
And wait for the child to give us their answer. You've gone over this a million times. I know what I'm doing.
Look, I'm really sorry. I'm just super duper nervous. Wait, just remember, we wait for them to give us the answer. We don't give it. We talk to them.
Yeah, I know. Everything's gonna be okay.
Okay, well then I'm gonna go get our next subject.
Buzzkill.
Huh?
I didn't say anything.
You're live. You're live.
Oh, hello. My name is Georgia, and my associate Maya and I are conducting a study to test the knowledge and comprehension of shapes in 25 and 30-month-old infants. To conduct this experiment, we took 30 children from each age group and used illustrations to represent 3 different types of shape types. These shape types include commonly encountered shapes, irregular shapes, and embedded shapes.
Alrighty, let's get started. You remember what you're doing, right?
Yes, I know what I'm doing, and we're live.
Oh, whoops. Please sit.
Hi. Hi. So, we're going to show you a series of pictures, and you're going to have to point to the correct answer that either my associate or I will be holding. Okay? Now, here's a little hint for you. I'm always the correct answer.
What did you just say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Okay, then which one of us is holding up the square?
Psst. It's mine. Pick mine.
Is that one? That's correct! Georgia! You said you knew what you were doing when we started this.
I do know what I'm doing.
We live.
All right. Sweetie, now, which one of us is holding up the circle? Psst. It's mine.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You're right. Is that one? That's not right.
Yes.
I'll be right back. Little sidebar, Georgia.
Guys,
What are you doing? You told me at the beginning you knew what you were doing, so what the heck is going on out there?
Look, I'm speeding up the process. If you can't tell, I'm actually really bored.
But you said you were excited to participate and that you wanted to be part of this.
No, that's not what happened. I said I was busy, and you couldn't find anyone else, so you dragged me over here.
Look, regardless of what you said, or what I said, or what anyone said, my career is riding on this experiment. So please, just take the cards and do this properly.
time is ticking.
I don't want
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Go with my hair!
damn. Guys, cut it out.
You never
Tamika!
Oh my
Tamika!
God, what is happening? Guys, cut it out.
Everybody's dead.
I said cut.
What?
Shapes. In the visual arts, a shape is a flat enclosed area of artwork, created through lines, textures, and colors.
Shapes.
chemistry, molecular geometry describes the three-dimensional shape of a molecule.
Shapes. Particular state of something or someone.
Shapes is concerned only with the two-dimensional qualities of an object.
Shapes, the particular condition of someone or something, the outline of an area or figure.
The shape of your character is the shape of your future.